All right, now we are live. Okay. Hey, y'all. I'm Carmel. This is Carmel's World, and I'm back. Um, I'm going to talk briefly about a subject that I've been doing video after video after video, but just didn't upload because it's something that was laid on my heart, and I just wanted to talk about it. And I'm gonna do a little light housekeeping first because that's what I do. If you're new, hey. If you're tried and true, Soul Tribe, you know I love you. And comments, please. I want if y'all come in. I'm not expecting. In case somebody is up and they do come in, by all means, say something. Welcome. You are whatever you need to say. Please try to keep it respectfully. Ask questions. If I don't have it in my notes, because notes, if I don't have it in my notes, I will definitely try to give you the best answer I possibly can based on what I may know about it. And I have my phone sitting next to me, so I might have to look it up on Google, but we're going to get the answer nonetheless. So, with that being said, what's up, air? The black community and organized religion. Have they gone too far or not far enough? And what exactly is too far? Now, what I do normally is I define some definitions on some words just in case, because some words people are like, oh, what? What does that mean? Or does it have what meaning behind it? Like, what do they mean? I just want to say the black community, because if you know anything about the black community nowadays, you know that it's hard finding community within the community. If you know, you know. And the definition for that, because there is a definition for it, it is the experience of being black in America. Google, not Carmel. The black community is a society whose culture is waiting to be redefined. This definition or concept is not designed to ignore other blacks in the Americas, but to evolve the strength and power of blacks as citizens of the United States of America. Yeah, I'm just going to leave that right there and y'all form your own opinion about that. Um, Organized religion. Because some people think organized religion is one thing, some people think organized religion is something else. The definition of it is a structured system of faith or second definition for it, a belief system that has large numbers of followers and a set of rules that must be followed. Now we're going to get to some notes on organized religion. What is the purpose of organized religion? To achieve the goals of salvation for oneself and others, and if there is a God incorporated in that belief, to render due worship and obedience of what salvation in God is. What is it called when you believe in God but not organized religion? Because you have so many people nowadays that say, oh, I believe there's a God, but I don't get the organized religion stuff. Organized religion churches to make big money off of poor people's pockets, blah, 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 and the like. Hold on, it says, okay, we got reconnection again. Um, I can't even remember where I was at, but okay, yeah, what is it called when you believe in God but organized religion? Answer is agnostic theism, or agnosticism, or agnosticism. The agnosticism is a philosophical or view that encompasses both theism and agnosticism. Now, theism It's a belief in the existence of a God or gods, especially belief in one God as the creator of the universe, intervening in it and sustaining a personal relationship to his creatures. Agnosticism, human reason is incapable of proving sufficient rational grounds to justify either that God exists or the belief that God does not exist. There is something called anti religion, which is the opposite of organized religion, or people that don't believe in organized religion, because you got a lot of people that say, oh, I don't believe in it. I don't believe in the concepts of it. I don't believe in the rules of it. I just don't believe in organized religion. I don't see the purpose in it. I believe in God, and I cut the deck. When did it start? It traces its start or roots to the Neolithic revolution that began thousands of years ago in the Near East, but may have occurred independently in several other locations around the world. Okay, so let's get to religion to get involved or incorporated into the Black community. Now, I'm going to give my opinion on this. Y'all excuse me because I have my ear going, as you probably can hear, and my nose is really, yeah. When, in my opinion, the church offers help in whatever capacity on the contingency or stipulation that you are or that they only help their own believers. I believe that help should be given to those in need because the need is present. Unfortunately, it doesn't always turn out that way it's supposed to be. It used to be back in the day that churches got involved in issues that plagued the community. And when I say that, I mean like hunger. You know, people coming up short at the end of the week and they got to pick a choice of rent or food. And the church would help give free food or help maybe pay a bill or help with homelessness or something to that degree. And they wouldn't have the extra admins. And some add stipulations, which is sad when you think about it because the very statutes and commandments that they preach upon in church seems to not be acted on outside the church doors. And sometimes even depending on the situation, inside of the situation in the church. Does religious affiliation affect or has an effect on social interaction in the community or society? The influence of religion on societal or community norm. This because through the guidelines that some religions follow, their followers uphold the belief systems of these religions as their moral compasses and in turn transforms the type of interaction their members have with the community or society. Now, what I mean by that is say you have a belief system and this is what you were raised on, this is what the church preaches that you're supposed to follow. And sometimes because of those beliefs, you may not interact within the community in certain functions because your belief system prohibits you from acting or interacting with certain types of people or certain situations involving those types of people or their circumstances or whatever the case may be. Your belief system may stop you or inhibit you from actually getting involved. Through my research, I have seen evidence that people who practice their religious beliefs more regularly see an increase in physical, mental, spiritual health, as well as longer lifespans. Now, this was doing my research. And what I say this and I included this was because my thought on that, if you have a belief system, like there's a saying, if you don't believe in something, you'll fall for anything. And when you believe in something that's bigger than yourself, that is in control of situations, and you're praying to that deity, that God, that whatever you want to call it, universe, spirit, whatever you call the person that you pray to, I call him God. And oh, child, my hair is all over. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna put that behind me. There we go. Much better. Um, when you pray to someone for help, for guidance, for strength, for patience, for better character, to help direct you moral compass, to help, give you grace, mercy, favor in a situation, to open a door for you, to help you in a relationship or even with a relationship, to help you, with your children, help you with your finances, things of that nature. And you have full that the person you pray to is going to be there to help you, because in the past, when you've prayed to this person, you've gotten prayers answered. So it eases the mind, it eases the spirit, because you know that all you have to do is continue to walk in faith. And faith can move mountains, it can open doors, it can heal relationships with husbands, with wives, with co-workers, with family members. It can open doors to jobs. When you pray and you believe in what you pray, this is how I believe. And you believe in what you pray, and you walk in a surety that God's got your back in all situations, you know from the evidence given before that situation, from other situations that you prayed to him in, and he answers prayer, that he doesn't disappoint. He answers prayer. So it gives you that assured sense of calmness. I know that my Father got me on this. I just have to believe. And you continue to go about your business and do what you do. But it helps you to have a calmer spirit. Blood pressure lowers because you're not stressed out. You're not trying to control situations that are completely out of your control. Why try? Because you know you can't control it. It's out of your hands. So you pray, you fast, you meditate, you do whatever you need to do to pray to your, you know, God of choice, and or deity or whatever you believe in. And then you have that faith that it's going to happen. And when you have that type of Holy Ghost boldness, that type of faith, as we call it, um, it tends to give you mental clarity. It tends to help ease the mind, to quiet the mind. It helps to the spirit man to die down and be more calmer. It just overall, it just gives you a whole overall sense of wellness, because you have an assured sense of, I know that God's going to see me through this. If he bring you to it, he'll see you through it. About 4 in 10 Black adults say predominantly Black churches today have too little influence in Black communities, compared with just 1 in 10 who say they have too much influence. Another study has stated that 45% of predominantly Black churches have about the right amount of influence. At the same time, some religious ongoers and Black Americans in general have stated that Black churches have less influence now than they did 50 years ago. They also feel that more Black churches should get more involved in their communities. I believe this. I do. I believe that, and this is just my opinion, but I believe that as a Black church, you do hold a position in the community, and your voice matters. Even if you're a small church, you're still a church. Your voice matters. And when your voice gets getting into the media or into the community with the politicians and the districts and wherever it needs to be to get the feedback that it's looking for whatever cause it is that it's standing for at that moment, they're heard. They have a certain something because they are church. And I think that with all the things that we have going on in the Black community, with our young Black men, our young Black women that are dying very young, that we have still have gang involvement, drug involvement in some areas, that you just have a breakdown of the family unit, where you have a lot of single parent homes, mothers who are struggling with multiple children in the home, fathers who may want to be fathers to their kids and they're struggling to see their children. They're struggling with child support payments. There's the breakdown in communication between the parents. And I think that, Black churches as a whole, if they had the programs in them that's put in place to help solve some of these issues, or at least try to help intervene in there to bring some unity back in the Black home, in the Black community, I think that it will make a difference. Now, this is just my opinion, my one little old lonely opinion, but I do believe that they can make a difference. Back in the day, and when I say back in the day, I mean way back, way back. I would say maybe, as because I'm 50, about to be 53. So back when I was a little teeny girl, back in the 70s, and I was born in the 60s. I was born at the end of the 60s, but back in the 60s, where they had the civil rights movement, and Martin Luther King was marching, and he was a reverend, and his church marched. Other churches joined in the marches. They held rallies. They, their church goers participated in civil rights movements, equality in the job place, equality in restaurants, equality for bathrooms, equality on buses, equality for us, period, you know, and they were heard. They made a difference. So, with that being said, you can see throughout history that when the churches get involved, when you hear reverends, in particular, Reverend Al Sharpton, just to drop a name, Jesse Jackson, to drop another name, civil rights activists, pastors, reverends, ministers belong in the churches. They're heard. They do the work. They don't just stay in the pulpit. They get out into the community. They pick up the causes. They know that prayer along with work changes things, because it said, it's an old saying that if you take two steps, God will take three. You take one step, God will take two. And I think that there may be some truth in that, because faith without works is death. That's in the Bible. You can have faith, but you got to put some work in to manifest that faith, to show God that you are faithful. You're a faithful steward in carrying out your request too. What are you doing to help that prayer come to fruition? What are you just sitting by the wayside wanting God to be a genie? Or, and I'm just saying God because I'm using Christianity, my religion, as an example, because I don't really know too much about the Nation of Islam or the Islamic religion or Judean religion. I don't know about like the different sects of Christianity, because you know, I'm not sure if Catholics are considered Christian, but you have Catholicism, you have Methodist, you have Episcopalian, you have Seventh-day Adventist, you have Jehovah's Witness, um, you have Methodist Episcopalian, you have a lot of just sets of different religious organizations that they believe in a basic religion of Christ and God and the Holy Spirit, but the way that they apply their biblical principles, which some adhere specifically to the Bible, everything word for word. Some they use the terminology loosely, and the interpretation changes a little bit in along the way, in the when they expound on it in church service. So it depends on you know which one you belong to. Um, but I digress. They do get, you know, when you do faith with work, you get rewarded. You get answers to prayer. You get God moves. You take those two more. You get to the door, he opens the door. You go into the interview, he allows that person, he gives you grace, mercy, and favor. So it's like you working along with God, but you're not taking away from the fact that he's the one that's going to get the glory at the end of that story. And that's just how I believe as a Christian. Um, Now some people believe, because I'm going forward, I'm down in the bottom portion because we at 21 minutes. And I still ain't got nobody in here. I know it's 2 o'clock in the morning, but my goodness. My. Okay, well, I guess everybody will come and wake up and see it and be okay. Carmel was on, and I look a little worn because I'm a little tired, but that's okay. It was laid on my heart to speak, and I'm speaking. Some people say that they're spiritual versus being an organized religion. And there's a difference between being spiritual or being part of spirituality and religion. Religion focuses on dogmas and rules followed by a particular sect or group of people, whereas spirituality focuses on the soul that dwells within. It can be said that religion focuses on the outside, spirituality focuses on the within. Religion comes from the outside, whereas spirituality comes from deep within the soul. Okay, I want to give a little bit of history because the woke people, as I call them, they believe on a certain level because I've had conversations with some people. And their thing is black people were force fed Christianity or got force fed the religion that of choice in the family because generally it's handed down from generation to generation to generation, and usually you believe what your mother believed. You went to church with grandma, you went to church with auntie, that was what you was raised in, and you perpetuate that. And that wasn't our actual religion, that we were force fed that because that's the way that the masters kept their slaves under rule. Because there's parts of the Bible that talks about slaves, obeying their masters. So they wanted the slaves to know that they were following the, confines and constraints of the Bible, and that they're supposed to be happy slaves to a certain extent. You're supposed to follow what I say, and you're supposed to do what as I say do, without question, without argument, and not give me any problems, I guess. And that we need to go back to the motherland, find out where we're from or where our ancestors are from, and pick up those religions and start practicing them, because that's where we originally practicing, because had we not been brought over here, we'd be practicing that today because we'd still be over there. And this is not accurate to a certain extent. Now, I say that because largely when the colonization started, and even before colonization started, Islam had touched surface and soil in Africa. So did Christianity. So the Africans had already had a kind of sort of exposure to organized religion before they got here. Some of them, the ones that were more near the ports, they may have been exposed to organized religion. That years, hundreds of years before. What was the first religion introduced to Africa? Hold on one second. Okay, there we go. What was the first religion or early 2nd century AD? Oral tradition says that the first Muslims appeared while the Prophet Muhammad was still alive, 632. Both religions have been on the continent of Africa for over 1,300. New religion to Africa. The Portuguese did in the 15th century. It was brought to the sub-Saharan part of Africa. In the south of the continent, the Dutch founded the beginnings of the Dutch Reformed Church in 1652. The interior of the continent continued to practice their own religions undisturbed until the 19th century. The original religion in Africa before colonization was polytheism, which means belief in many gods or more than one god. Belief before the introduction of Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. An exception, a short-lived monotheistic religion created by Pharaoh Akhenaten, who made it mandatory to pray to his personal god Aten or Aten, was Christianity in Africa before colonization. The Africans adopted Christianity for survival and liberation. Long before colonization and slavery, Africans were practicing Christianity. It predated and I can't read this word, but any kind of European influence, I believe. Similarities between Africans' traditional religion and Christianity. Both religions believe that God reveals himself to people through dreams, prophecies after death. So now, what religion was religious beliefs and practices were numerous and varied. In addition to a wide variety of polytheistic religions, a significant portion of the continent had for centuries fallen under Islamic influence. And how was organized religion introduced to the Black community? Religion was also a driving force during slavery in the Americas. Once they arrived at their new. So now in theory, the Nation of Islam, I'm not sure if it's the Nation of Islam or just Islam itself. I'm pretty sure it's Islam. So scratch the Nation of just Islam. Muslim religion was on the continent of Africa against cargo. And the Portuguese did it, the Dutch did it, the Europeans did it. It was a very popular thing. And were selling their own kind into slavery to go on these ships, to go across the world, to become slaves and trade cargo for other countries. So some people think, oh no, it was only the certain color skin tone people that, enslaved us. No, it wasn't just them. It was a whole lot of people that took those voyages, that when they colonized the outer portions, the ports, and they was traded on those ports. They were held in what looked like to be jails, almost cells, and transported on like livestock.